There's a moment right before you decide to change your life when everything feels possible. You imagine the new routine, the new habits, the version of you who finally has things figured out. For a second, it all feels real. Then the moment passes, and somehow, nothing changes. The same habits, the same patterns, the same quiet frustration. If you've ever asked yourself why it's so hard to turn intention into action, you're not alone. But today, I want to show you a different way to begin. You already know what you should be doing. Exercise more, read more, start that project, build that skill. You have the goal. You might even have the plan. So why does nothing happen? Here's the truth most people never hear. Your problem isn't discipline. It's not willpower. And it's not your schedule. The real problem is how you think about execution. Because most people think execution means pushing harder. Wake up earlier. Force yourself to work. Be more disciplined. But your brain doesn't change through force. It changes through reward. That tiny moment when you finish something and think, yes, I did that. That feeling matters more than motivation. Because that's what actually wires habits. That's what builds momentum. Execution becomes sustainable when it feels satisfying, not when it feels like punishment. And I don't mean the cheap kind of reward, like scrolling your phone or eating junk food. I mean the deeper satisfaction of seeing yourself move forward. When your system creates that feeling consistently, you stop relying on willpower. You simply start showing up. Here's where most people get stuck. They turn their entire life into a scoreboard. Numbers they use to judge themselves. How much weight did I lose? How many books did I read? How much money did I make? Those numbers feel productive. But most of the time, they create pressure, not progress. Every day becomes a test. Am I on track? Am I behind? And the moment the answer is no, your brain creates shame. And shame kills action. Instead of momentum, you get avoidance. This is why the more people obsess over goals, the harder it becomes to actually execute. Goals aren't the problem, but using them as your main driver, that's where things break. There's a better way. Here's the shift that changes everything. Stop trying to be a goal chaser. Start thinking like a scientist. A scientist doesn't fail. A scientist collects data. When an experiment doesn't work, they don't panic. They don't shame themselves. They don't quit. They ask one simple question: what did this teach me? This mindset removes pressure and replaces it with curiosity. And curiosity is one of the most powerful motivators we have. When you treat your habits like experiments, you stop judging yourself. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You learn faster because you're actually doing the work. And slowly, something important happens. Your identity begins to change. You're no longer someone who just plans. You're someone who runs experiments. You try things. You observe results. You adjust. And you keep going. The best part? Experiments have a clear beginning and end. No forever commitments. No pressure to be perfect for the rest of your life. Just try something for a set amount of time. See what happens. Here's the formula. I will specific action for specific duration. That's it. For example, I will walk for 20 minutes after dinner for the next 2 weeks. I will create 2 pieces of content every week for 6 weeks. I will stretch for 5 minutes every morning for 10 days. Simple, clear, doable. No vague promises. No pressure to become a perfect human overnight. Just a small experiment you can start today. Execute without judgment. Observe with curiosity. Before you begin any experiment, run it through a simple filter. PACT, P, Purposeful. Why am I doing this? Your reason doesn't have to be dramatic. Maybe you want more energy. Maybe you want to feel proud of yourself. Maybe you're just curious. That's enough. A. Actionable. Can I start this today? If the answer is no, the experiment is too big. Shrink it. C. Continuous. Can this survive real life? Busy days, tired days, messy days, designed for reality, not perfection. T. Trackable. How will you see progress? A simple check mark is enough. Seeing visible progress triggers dopamine, and dopamine makes consistency easier. Make it visible. Make it simple. When the experiment ends, whether it worked or not, don't skip the review. Ask 3 questions. What actually happened? What did I learn? And what's my next experiment? Because remember, a scientist doesn't see a negative result as failure. It's information. 3 months of small experiments will teach you more about yourself than 3 years of planning ever could. Every experiment you run, no matter how small, is a vote for the person you're becoming. Not perfect, not dramatic, just curious, consistent, and willing to try again. If this video helped you take even one small step forward, consider subscribing. This channel is for people who are building themselves slowly, intentionally, one experiment at a time. And before you go, think of one small experiment you could start this week. Because the version of you're trying to become is built one experiment at a time.